aren't any good people or bad people. All people are a mixture of good and bad. I want leaders who have a capacity for honest love. The important thing is to choose people who have the wisdom and the integrity to seek real answers, to try and to fail, and then learn from the failure and try again. It may just be the normal process of growing older and moving further from the mainstream of world events. When you have been around for close to 8 decades, and I have, the world can seem to be an alien place. I remember my mother saying she stopped watching television because she could no longer tell the commercials from the programs. The culture changes. So maybe I am just another old person who feels left out and left behind. It is certainly true that the world of politics today is nothing like it was in the 1960s when I came of age. And yet, I am convinced that we have crossed the Rubicon in areas that we once considered inviolable. There have been fundamental shifts in the way we understand government and what it means to be an American. There has been a seismic shift in how we understand the Constitution. We have come through a 50-year process of rewriting the history of the founding of this country. But it is even deeper than that. We have redefined the fundamental meanings of good and evil. The struggle between right and wrong is not a new battle. It has been at the center of what it means to be human since the time before history was recorded. But there are new rules that are profoundly different than they were for a millennium or two. It is hard to talk about such things and not begin to be heard as moralistic. But I'm not talking about the simple morality of people in white hats versus people in black hats. There really aren't any good people or bad people. All people are a mixture of good and bad. No, I'm not talking about something so simple. What I'm talking about is a sense of something deeper, something so much more serious. It is the moral core that is shifting. It is not in my power to change the world. The only person I can change is myself, and that is only with attention, intention, and a great deal of work. So how do I live in the political reality of my world today as an American, with purpose and meaning and self-respect? How can I be an American patriot in the best sense of the word? The starting place for me is to vote. I suspect that seems obvious and maybe even a little trite. My vote has never had an actual effect on the outcome of an election. It does, of course, in a collective sense. One vote more, one vote less makes a difference. But even close elections are usually separated by 1,000 or more votes. But who gets elected is not the only reason to vote. Indeed, it may not even be the most important reason. Voting is how I take seriously my responsibility in the government that affects my life and the lives of others. It is how I become clear in my own mind about my hope and my part in whatever happens. There is a scene in the movie Shadowland in which an Anglican priest is trying to offer comfort to C.S. Lewis, the author of the Chronicles of Narnia. whose wife is dying. The priest is giving him lofty platitudes about prayer until C.S. Lewis responds, "Oh, I don't pray to change God. I pray to change me. I don't vote to change the world or solve the world's problems. Of course, I want the people I vote for to win, but at a more important level, I vote to change me, or to keep myself on the path I choose to walk. It is important for me to express my hope for my own sake." It has become something of a truism that the government of this country was founded on a system of checks and balances. Power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely, goes the adage, and it seems to have been borne out by history. The authors of the Constitution sought to create a government in which the accumulation of power by a few would be difficult, if not impossible. Since elementary school, we have learned that there are 3 divisions of government in this country: legislative, executive, and judicial. Each has a particular focus and some power, sometimes a lot of power, but not all the power. Each branch checks the power of the other 2. But the way the Constitution is written, there are really 4 branches of government: legislative, executive, judicial, and public. The people who are governed, the people who vote. You and I have a responsibility, a patriotic duty, to hold in check the ability to accumulate power by the other branches of government. We are an essential element of the balance. All the things done to suppress the votes of those whose opinions are different from ours, to create safe voting districts, to limit the votes of any segment of population, are done to accumulate power. They are done to abrogate the power of voters and skew the balance of government. I have come to believe that I need to rethink how I come to the ballot box, how I decide to vote. There are perhaps some litmus tests that are valid. I am not going to vote for anyone who does not support the rights of LGBTQ people. I'm not going to vote for a white supremacist or someone who is willing for the assumption of white supremacist to stand without challenge. That's just who I am. But beyond the non-negotiables, there are important things that are much more personal and less political. Serious problems are never easy to solve. If they were easy, they wouldn't be problems. Border control, poverty, the widening gap between the rich and the poor, ideological conflicts in a multicultural world, a culture of hate. Those are not simple things. They are complicated and complex. I don't have answers. I don't know what to do. The important thing is not to vote for someone who agrees with my answers. The important thing is to choose people who have the wisdom and the integrity to seek real answers, to try and to fail, and then learn from the failure and try again. There are no silver bullets. Progress is always incremental. It may be that humility is the most important of all qualifications, and God knows we are in short supply of that. Scott Peck, author of The Road Less Traveled, defines humility as giving serious consideration to the possibility that I may be wrong. Humility is the realization that I have something to learn and the willingness to reach for something new and better even though it wasn't my idea. Read George Washington's farewell address. Read anything George Washington wrote. Read Abraham Lincoln. It may be that the culture was different and the appearance of humility was expected and accepted, but I don't really believe that's the whole story. I had the remarkable opportunity to spend 20 minutes in private conversation with Desmond Tutu, the Anglican Archbishop of South Africa, and I know he was a humble man. I believe that was at the core of his greatness. I believe in servant leadership. That is a much longer conversation than is possible here, other than to say I want leaders who want to serve those they seek to lead. I want to vote for people who have a spirituality beyond and separate from politics. I don't mean any particular religion or doctrine. I want to vote for people who understand that they are not all that there is. People who are not beholden to one party or another. People who understand there is something beyond them, something greater than they are, something more important. I want leaders who have a capacity for honest love, who get that there is something that connects us and draws us into responsibility for each other. There's a saying in Alcoholics Anonymous, if you believe in God, AA can help you. If you don't believe in God, AA can help you. If you believe you are God, there is not much AA can do. I have said consistently that I am not optimistic about the future of our country. And that's true. I'm not. I fear that we are too far down this road where politics has become religion. And I don't know how it will turn out. But I am not without hope. Over the course of our almost 250 years as a country, there have been several revivals of faith that have changed the course of events. Who knows what will happen tomorrow? But whatever the future holds, tomorrow will come and something new will emerge. There may be some hard times. New births are often painful. But however the future unfolds, we are not helplessly at the mercy of those who chase the golden calf of power. What we choose to stand for will shape how we live. I may make no claim of perfection. I, as others, am a flawed human being. I stand in the need of forgiveness. But whatever happens, whatever tomorrow brings, it is my intention to do my part as best I can. I am going to vote. How about you?